Writers. Just as writers draft and revise a lead or even a portion of a story, we must also draft and revise alternate endings. That's why today I want to teach you that writers provide endings to their narrative stories. You do this by thinking of the big meaning of your story. You will ask yourself, what do I want the reader to take away from your story? Once you write this big takeaway, your narrative writing will be fully developed and strong. The first step is to think, what's my story really about? What is it that I want to say to my readers about this problem that I'm having, maybe the struggle that I'm going through, or this journey that I'm going through? How can I resolve this problem by teaching a lesson or allow my readers to take away a big meaning from my story? I reread this entry that I wrote about the day my sister went off to college. At first, I was thinking it was a story about feeling sad because my sister was leaving and I was going to miss her. But after rereading, I realized I should consider a possible ending that will show my readers how much of a struggle it was to say goodbye to my best friend and sister. After rereading, I realized it just kind of drops off without really showing my real struggle I was going through. Here's the draft of saying goodbye. As she was about to drive away in her little yellow Beetle car, packed to the roof with all of her belongings, I gave her one last hug through the window. We waved goodbye as she drove away. Do you see how my ending was a little bit disappointing? I build up this struggle of having to say goodbye to my sister, but I don't really think that ending shows that my story is really about. I definitely must make a change if I want to leave my reader with a big ending. Watch what I came up with after I ended up revising it. Okay, so I put my revisions, what I added, in green so that you guys could see it. Okay, so let me read it to you. As she was about to drive away in her little yellow Beetle car, packed to the roof with all of her belongings, I gave her one last hug through the window. I pulled back away from the car, looked at her as tears streamed down our faces. You know I will always love you, to the moon and back, I mumbled. She slowly pulled out of the driveway, and with one last wave, she yelled, to the moon and back, sister. By adding more action and dialogue, I was able to stretch my ending to show my readers my struggle of saying goodbye to my sister. Do you see how this was a very powerful way to revise endings? I didn't just end my story with she drove away. I resolved a problem. Again, I was teaching a lesson and thinking about the big takeaway from the story. Today, you are going to be picking a story that you have already written, okay, either over digital learning days or a story you've written in the past, and you are going to be revising the ending, okay? So you can look to see how I did it, okay? So you can see my original of what I came up with, and you can see parts of the original that I kept, and again, parts that I took away, and then parts that I added. Okay, so again, you will be providing an ending to your own narrative story. I want you to think about the big meaning of your story. You should ask yourself, what do I want the reader to take away from my story? Okay, and again, revise your narrative ending.